In today's video, the fascinating and somewhat exclusive topic of citizenship by exception, or otherwise known as citizenship by exceptional merit. This pathway to citizenship is not available in every country, and where it does exist, it's often shrouded in mystery and exclusivity due to its discretionary nature. Let's explore what citizenship by exceptional merit entails, its criteria, the countries potentially offering it, benefits, and the process involved in obtaining such citizenship. So, citizenship by exceptional merit is a special route to citizenship granted by some countries to individuals who have demonstrated exceptional contributions, talents, or skills in areas deemed valuable by the state. Unlike other forms of citizenship acquisition, which might require long-term residency, investment, or familial ties, this route is based on merit or service to the country. The concept is that these individuals, through their contributions, will continue to benefit the nation, hence justifying their fast-tracked path to citizenship. There's been some celebrity cases in recent years of citizenship by exception. Most famously, I think Steven Seagal got Russian citizenship by exception. Tom Hanks got Greek citizenship by exception. And I think a couple rappers got citizenship in Africa by exception as well. So there's these high-profile cases, but there's also less high-profile cases for average people as well. So let's talk about the criteria for citizenship by exceptional merit. The criteria for this type of citizenship varies significantly from one country to another, obviously, but some common threads include having exceptional talents. This could range from sports stars, artists, scientists, or academics whose work has brought international recognition or has significantly benefited the host country. Soccer/football players are famous for getting citizenship by exception in small countries like Qatar, where they might not be able to field a football team or an Olympic team without conferring citizenship. Another criteria might be cultural contributions, individuals who have enriched the cultural landscape of the country through arts, literature, or other cultural activities. Maybe Steven Seagal would have fit under this category. Another one is economic impact. Entrepreneurs or business leaders who have made substantial contributions to the economy might be considered, though this often overlaps with citizenship by investment programs. But obviously CBI is a more concrete and well-tested route, whereas people who have an outsized economic impact, they create relationships with the government, and sometimes they can get this citizenship by exception in countries that don't have a formal CBI program. Another potential criteria is public service. Notable service to the nation, perhaps through military service, diplomatic roles, or humanitarian efforts, especially during crises. This is kind of what Tom Hanks did, where I think they donated a whole bunch of money to Greece after an earthquake or some kind of natural disaster. Another criteria might be scientific or technological advancement. Researchers or tech innovators whose work has been pivotal in advancing the country's position in these fields. Another one might be humanitarian or philanthropic work. Those who have dedicated their lives to improving conditions within the country or have significantly aided in disaster relief or social causes. So let's give a list of countries who have offered citizenship by exceptional merit, and while not exhaustive, here are some countries known for offering this pathway through their programs, and though the programs might differ. So in France, they have one known as the talent passport for professionals in specific sectors. And France has occasionally granted citizenship to those who have made exceptional contributions to the country's cultural and scientific scene. In the United States, they have something called the EB1A visa for those with extraordinary ability in arts, sciences, and education. And though it's a green card first and then citizenship after a period of residency, it's something that's by exception. So the EB1, EB1A. In Canada, they have something called the Federal Skilled Workers Program, where people with exceptional skills can get fast-tracked for residency and therefore citizenship. And another famous one is in Dubai or in the UAE. I believe it was the UAE, it could be Abu Dhabi, that Kevin O'Leary recently got citizenship. And I think Dubai or the UAE has been relatively vocal about how by discretion and by exception, they're giving citizenship to something on the order of a couple dozen, maybe 50 people a year, people like Kevin Leary and other people who are, who have had an outsized impact on the country. There may also be some citizenship by exception programs in Eastern Europe, although those countries prefer to kind of keep things hush-hush because they don't want to run afoul with the European Union and their other European relationships. And typically the countries that are smaller and a bit more autocratic have more leeway to grant citizenship by exception, right? Small countries like Qatar or who knows, East Timor, things like that, like these small countries where the leader has a lot of power and maybe the Congress or the Senate, whatever, has a little bit less power and less fluid processes, that's where this is more likely to occur. So now let's talk about the benefits of citizenship by exceptional merit. So the advantages of obtaining citizenship through this route include, of course, visa-free travel from having the passport, access to services, political participation, maybe tax benefits and favorable tax conditions, cultural integration, bragging rights, security, and stability. There are cases where people have been given a passport as a form of protection, right? As a form of asylum. So there are cases like that as well. So there's benefits to both the recipient of the citizenship and also benefits to the country giving the citizenship by exception. So what does the process look like? Obviously, it's highly variable and there's no one-size-fits-all application here. But usually these individuals or their representatives must make a case directly to the government bodies or through special committees. There's going to be extensive documentation proving the merit or contributions. This could include awards, publications, patents, or testimonials from respected figures in the field. You'll probably also need a background check, a police check as well. There might be interviews or presentations, a personal interview, or speaking in front of a panel where the individual must demonstrate their contributions or future intentions. One thing is what you've done to date for the country, but another thing is what you're going to do in the future for the country. And these citizenships might be granted based on what you've done so far, but also they take into consideration what you're planning to do in the future. It's a discretionary decision. Since this is often not a right but a privilege, decisions can be highly subjective based on current national priorities or political climates. Talking about residency, while some countries might grant citizenship without a residency requirement, many still require some period of living in the country. This will obviously vary country by country, but surely it will be looked more favorable upon if you are spending time in the country. Now let's talk about some challenges and considerations. We've talked about the exclusivity a little bit. This form of citizenship is exceptionally rare and often not publicized widely, making it difficult to navigate without insider knowledge or connections. There's also a degree of subjectivity here, where this discretionary nature means outcomes can be unpredictable. Legal representation is another consideration here, where obtaining such citizenship requires legal assistance, which can be costly. It can involve special connections. And you got to be really careful if someone's proposing this route to you. They might say they have special connections with the government and they can get people in via exception. And while there are certainly true cases where people do have relationships and can make things happen, there's also a lot of fraud and people misleading others out there, and stories of people being promised citizenship by exception only to have the supposed middleman run off with the money. So you got to be really, really careful here. Another challenge is the public scrutiny involved. So high-profile grants of citizenship can attract media attention, which might not always be favorable. And then there's ethical questions as well, right? There can be debates about fairness when citizenship is granted based on merit rather than traditional routes. But the bottom line is these things exist, and there are ways to get citizenship around the world outside of the traditional routes. So people think that CBI, citizenship by investment, is kind of the only way to quote unquote buy yourself into a passport. But citizenship by exception is something that's much less widely talked about, and also a route that sort of circumvents the traditional system in some ways. In conclusion, citizenship by exceptional merit is a unique and prestigious pathway to becoming a citizen of a country. It celebrates and rewards those who enrich or advance the nation in extraordinary ways. However, its discretionary nature means that only a select few will ever access this route. For those who can do it, it can open up doors to opportunities, recognition, and a new national identity. Thank you for watching this comprehensive overview on citizenship by exceptional merit. If you found this video interesting or informative, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content on global citizenship, passports, and immigration. Until next time, stay informed about the diverse ways people can become global citizens, and we'll see you in the next video. And by the way, if you know any countries that supposedly have given away citizenship by exception, leave a comment below. We'd be curious to read about some anecdotes you guys might have, or if you guys want to talk about some of the famous stories out there, drop a comment below as well. Will be really interesting. Ciao for now.